Today, I'm gonna show you guys how to set up this very simple workflow that creates a lot of value for your company and for other people's company. That is basically a follow-up agent for inbound leads. And why is this workflow? This is very simple. Just receive the data from somewhere, so from a webhook, and read it to your AI agent. It researches about the company and sends an email to that person with a personalized email to the person, notifies you, and appends the lead on your CRM. In this case, I'm using Google Sheets. But this is very important for any kind of business because every lead is handled in 30 seconds automatically. Usually, 78% of leads never get a follow-up. So the average response time is 47 hours and the optimal window is 5 minutes. So there's a huge leap, and this is basically something you can do for free and set it up in 5 to 10 minutes. So the problem right here is that 5 minutes is the contact window, and after 5 minutes, the chance of qualifying a lead drops by 80%. And as we saw, the most teams responding 47 hours, for 2 to 47 hours. And the original MIT study that analyzed 15,000 plus web-generated leads and 100,000 call attempts across 6 companies show the results that you are basically 21 times more likely to qualify the lead in 5 minutes versus 30 minutes. So this is huge, 21 times. If you close 21 times more leads, this is a huge difference for any company. And after the first hour, odds of contacting or qualifying a lead drops by 10 times or more. So this is a very simple setup that you can't not have. Basically, every business needs this, and it is super simple. And if you're a small company, you can run this for free. And if you're a big company, you can basically run this on super high-end models to improve the quality of your reach outs. And in this video, I'm going to show you how to set it up completely for free, and I will just let the download link in the description below so you can get it and set it up for yourself or for other people company that you are providing some service or stuff like that. So let's go to the build. So the first thing you're gonna need is basically a form webhook, and this is for any kind of form or website or any way you get inbound leads. So in this case, I just have a form webhook, and I've set up some information that I get basically from my website. So name, email, message, and company. And you can see some dummy data right here that I pinned. To set this up, you're gonna need to set this link into your webhook providers. So in this case, I'm gonna show you guys how to do this on Tally. That is a very common form provider. So I have right here a form, and we can see that all of these, like Typeform, Tally, any kind of this form type service providers have integrations. And you can basically use this kind of webhook integration and connect it. And then you're gonna paste the endpoint URL right here and just connect. And this is going to ask, usually it asks an HTTPS request and not a HTTP like I'm using right here. So if you are setting this up in production, you should have your website in HTTPS and not in HTTP. And come back on the flow, we have a Google Sheets, and coming back to the workflow, after the webhook is received, we have a Google Sheets get rows node that essentially just get all the rows in the CRM and checks if the user is new or not. Because if it is new, we probably want a different treatment for that lead. So this is only for new leads. And then we have an if statement, and we check if the email is in the rows. And if it is not, we normalize the form. So basically you can get information from any kind of webhook. So if you want, you can basically change this to a tele trigger or a form type trigger, like an A10 form, form.io. Any of these basically serve as the same thing, and type form and open form. And after the normalized form, we give it to the AI agent, And this is very, very straightforward, very simple. And we just give it the lead data, so the name, the email, the message, and meeting schedule if you have one. In this workflow, we don't have any meeting scheduled. The source, that is a form, and the instruction, write the follow-up email now. And the system message right here is what you're gonna have to change. You're gonna customize who you are and tell the AI what your company does. So you're gonna have to change these two first lines, and also this line right here that is propose one concrete automation idea. So if you aren't an automation business, or if you're building this for another business, you're gonna need to change this. And it is a very good idea if you can actually provide some real examples, like a list of what automations you build or something like that, some of the services that you provide. So, and then the AI can match if the company that is the inbound lead needs any of these services that you provide. And then the sign off is also important. And right here I have a mention of that I'm sending a practical N8N guide for them, and you probably will send your stuff and you're gonna have to change this. I highly recommend you to send some documents that guide the customer, some kind of onboarding, some kind of value to them, so they can get something for free. And I'm attached on a Google Gemini chat model, so this is pretty straightforward. The Gemini 2.5 Flash, and this you can run for free. And then an HTTP request tool. So this is very important because the response, including headers and status, never ever, is all defined by the agent. So the agent needs to define the URL on its own. So if the agent sees that the email is a company email, it can use the HTTP request to search for a company. If it doesn't find, there's no problem. And then we just parse the email output. So this is just a parsing node that separates the JSON right here. So we have the subject and the body. And after that, we download a file. So in this case, I'm downloading my practical guide N8N and sending to the person. And then we send the email. In this case, I'm just using Gmail. And in this testing case, I'm sending this to my own email. So you're gonna have to change this. In production, you're gonna have to change this to the email of the person right here, and not this. But this is only for testing, so there's no problem. And of course, remove the append N8N attribution. And then after that, I also have a Telegram node that tells me what happened, so I always know, I'm always in the loop of what's going on, if there are new leads showing up and things like that. And after that, it just appends the new lead in the CRM. In this case, it is just a Google Sheets. So the Google Sheets right here is just a very straightforward sheet. So it has a timestamp, the name, the email, the message, the source, the subject, the body, and the status. And if you have a CRM, you can basically expand upon this. This is just the first message. That is, of course, the most important one, as we saw, but this is just the first message. And if we run this using this dummy data that I've set it up, so John at Stripe, saying I'm interested, there is no context at all, just I'm interested. So the AI needs to look up the company and generate a custom automation solution for the Stripe, and then send a message on the email. And here is the email. So thanks for reaching out and expressing your interest in Instructors AI, knowing Stripe's focus on simplifying online payments. So it found the website and it looked up what it really needed and created a custom solution right here. Imagine automating data aggregation from various sources and generating real-time financial reports, saving considerable time and reducing manual errors. So I'm also sending over a practical N8N guide for you to help create a culture of automation in your business. Of course, in this case, Stripe isn't the optimal automation client, because they probably already have a culture of automation and coding and everything like that. But for most businesses don't have a culture of automation and experimenting with AI and software stuff. And it also sends a invitation for a 20-minute call, and we can see right here that it just sent me this the same information right here. So I can see that what happened in my phone and in real time. So yeah, and if we check on the HTTP request, we can see right here that it actually got the data. Of course, you can also switch this for other types of web fetching. You can use like something like Firecrawl to improve the scraping. But in this case, is HTTP request is fine. It is free. Of course, sometimes it can fail, and if you want something more robust, you can set up the Firecrawl, like I said, for 500 uses a month for free. So yeah, I hope you guys liked it, and this automation will be in the description below if you want it, and I see you guys in the next video.